Introducing your hosts from Collingwood, Ontario, Canada, Jack Edwards, and his partner from Dallas, Texas, by way of Port Arthur, Texas, Big George. Together, they are the North-South Connection.
Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. We are the North-South Connections. I am Jack Edwards. That's Big George.
You know me. It's always the time and place to be, the place of the year. It's Royal Rumble time. We got to bring in special guests, of course. Mr. Ross Fatkins, introduce your mans.
I will, ladies and gentlemen. Our special guest tonight is a longtime friend of mine, longtime gambling buddy. I've taken some of his money in Royal Rumble pools in the past. In our part of my part of the world, he's a really big deal. He's been a longtime radio host in my area, Simcoe County, for decades. He's a lot. He's older than he looks. I'll tell you that right now. And now he has his own podcast. And I'm happy he joined us. But he's a super long time wrestling fan. Loves wrestling. Knows a lot about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt McLean. Matt, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Jack, George, thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to talk Rumble. My favorite pay-per-view historically over Mania every year. And I went to the one last year, so can't wait. Love it all.
Awesome. I mean, I'm excited to have you. But Matt, first of all, you're doing a podcast. You're on your own. Tell us about the podcast. We have a listenership that comes from far and wide. So there might be people who like it, want to check it out. So tell me about it.
Yeah, we have a true crime podcast. It's called Everything Scary. We started 2025 with one of our, I think, in true crime, one of the Mount Rushmore cases, which is JonBenet Ramsey. So it ended up with a 4-part episode. One episode was 2 hours just on the list of suspects. Like, it was crazy. And it's funny, a lot of these stories, some of the famous stories from that you remember from the headlines, you're like, did that really happen that way? Like, I didn't realize it took them I think it was 40 days to talk to the parents.
Yikes.
It's like, let's just maybe chat with them. And there's DNA that still has not been tested from that case that they have, that the police department, the Boulder Police Department, which famously kind of bumbled this investigation, they have, and they're refusing to get tested. And my co-host Lynn actually emailed the new chief of police for the Boulder Police Department to ask them directly why they're not getting it tested. We haven't heard anything yet, but that was just kind of how we kicked off this year. And we kind of go through some of the most historical true crime cases. We're not one of those podcasts that is going to get a Netflix deal because we go and solve them. We just kind of report on them, and she compiles these huge dossiers of research on these cases, and I just kind of sit in the corner and, as you can imagine in true crime, make a ton of jokes.
Definitely got to check that out. I got to check it out for myself. I'm a big true crime bro. And me and my wife will sit and listen to a podcast about true crime all the time.
Yes.
So
how'd you get into it, Matt?
You know what? With the radio gig, a listener named Lynn sent me a DM and was just like, my sister and I are starting a podcast. We'd love to get your thoughts on it from a kind of technical standpoint. Her sister ended up leaving the pod. I guest hosted on a couple episodes, and then she asked if I would like to come on a permanent basis. That was 2 years ago. We've got over 200 paid members in our Patreon group. We've got it's probably over 300,000 downloads, listens, shares, one of those things. So it's heating up.
That's awesome. I'm excited you're doing your own thing, man. That's fantastic.
Thank you. And we're doing a cruise. We got invited on a true crime cruise, which I don't know if you've heard about cruises and people that go on them, and couples go and only one person comes back. A lot of them. But we got invited on a true crime cruise, so a few of our listeners have purchased tickets, and a few more are going to be joining us. We set sail in October from Tampa, and
nice.
3 podcasts going on. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But a lot of fun.
We're here talking about the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble is this Saturday.
Yes,
live on
indeed.
Netflix, like they need another plug. But listen, we're coming for that WWE shop money. WWE
Yeah.
shop is apparently offering people like, if you promote their stuff, I'm like, I'll promote it. You
Oh
know,
yeah, the influencer package.
yeah, well, sure. I'm not. Who am I influencing? But you know, they'll give me money. I'm in. Um, but the Royal Rumble's this Saturday, and before we get started on the Rumble match, like Matt, we'll kick it off with you. Like, first of all, what do you like so much about the Rumble match itself, and what's your prediction for this year's Rumbles? Who's going to win, men and women?
I love the the teasing of Mania, the teasing of the next feud. I love when it's like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker in the Rumble, and it's like, oh my God, what are these guys doing fighting each other? Like, where's this gonna go? Or
Yeah.
like in one of my picks is 1998. One of my highlights of it is Stone Cold and Bret Hart kicking each other's ass in the like it's just there's a scene where Bret Hart's got Stone Cold in the sharpshooter, and it's just in the middle of the ring in the Rumble, and it's just perfect. So I love that. I like the feuds within the Rumble because especially now with the segregated shows, you don't get that full interaction kind of
Mhm.
anymore. So I like that. As far as predictions go, I think I've got to go with what I hear the most is CM Punk. Like I know it kind of seems crazy to me, but like when I went last year, I was looking forward to doing two things. Cheering when I heard that and booing Dom. That was like my two number one things as a fan I wanted to accomplish. And I think that that would be great. But if we got CM Punk as the winner, we wouldn't get him and Seth at Mania.
Hmm.
So
I don't know if we're getting that anyways, but
no,
no, I don't know. But uh, George, who are you picking for the Rumble? Oh, women's Rumble. I forgot. Matt, pick the
Yeah, no,
women's
no,
oh,
Rumble.
yeah.
What?
women's
The
rumble.
women's.
I got Naya, my girl.
Mm.
Yeah, Jared. It's my future ex-wife. We'll get married. It won't last, but it won't be my fault, probably.
Allegedly, right? Won't be your
That's
fault.
right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Or what about Alexa Bliss? She coming back?
I
Mm.
don't know. I don't think she's coming back to win the Rumble. She might be
No,
back. Jordan Grace is going to be in the Rumble, and she'll do well. I think she might. I predict she'll be one of the final four.
she's a TNA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Didn't she just sign a deal?
yeah. She signed a WWF deal, a
Yeah.
WWE deal. Pardon me. I'm out of the influencer package now.
You
Um,
idiots.
Shot. That shit's done.
yeah.
On to the
Thanks.
next one.
We had a good run. Um,
That was that fast.
but George, who you picking? Men's and women's Rumble.
On the men's side, um, I'm gonna take a random obvious pick. And of course, when I say random obvious, it's like, why not pick Drew McIntyre? I mean, what does he have to lose?
Mhm.
Nothing. He can ruin the party with CM Punk because he owes him an ass whooping. So we
He
already know
does.
that feud is already the that little man right there, Drew McIntyre. He ain't gonna forget shit. He
No.
don't forget shit. He's a petty motherfucker. So there's a lot of motherfuckers he can be real petty in this match about. Drew McIntyre. He can go at Damian Priest if Damian Priest so decides to just hop in. You know, whatever you see. Drew McIntyre come in, I want y'all to understand where he is in that match and how many people are in the ring. Somebody's getting Claymore out, and it's gonna be at least 3 people, and then he's gonna stick around for a while because his endurance is crazy. Like, let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
Mhm.
That
he's in
man's
shape.
endurance is insane. So I'm like this. There's not very many competitors in my mind that can go toe to toe with him, and there's only a very few that can kind of match his physical prowess. But I'm not all about physical. He has to be a little smart too, and Drew is a little smart, not enough at times, but a little smart. So I like the fact that Drew can kind of make his way out of certain situations. But so for the men's, I got Drew McIntyre. For the women's, I got Bailey. I'm gonna go with Bailey on this one.
Oh, back to back.
I'm gonna go with Bailey because Bailey is
That's a good poll.
she's riding under the radar. She definitely deserves her spot at the top. She's kind of bringing that little fade back to her side a little bit. So hey, I'm feeling Bailey. Bailey can get her a Royal Rumble win. You know, all the others got a little something. They had the four horsewomen at one point in time. All of them had a little bit of a run at one point to where they had titles and things like that. Only one of them really won the Royal Rumble like that. And I think it's
Yeah.
time for another one to kind of go ahead and get in the fold and win a Royal Rumble. So I'm gonna say Bailey on that.
Nice.
Listen, funny you mentioned the four horsewomen because we'll slide right into my pick for the Royal
I
Rumble, and that's
knew it.
Charlotte.
I knew
Charlotte's going to
it.
win it. And I don't think there's any question.
Okay, are we allowed to talk about Charlotte's appearance or no?
She's
Hey,
listed already. Yeah, she's listed
Because
already.
I did not recognize who this new superstar was until they made reference to it in text. To her in text. I was like, she has like, who are these people that are saying, you know what you should do? Extremely good looking lady, get some plastic surgery.
yeah. I mean,
Like,
I'm for whatever makes you happy. So whatever she feels,
Absolutely.
whatever she needs. But
oh yeah,
I don't know.
shit. I should have said that one. That's what I meant actually.
Yeah, you're going to get 198 subscribers tomorrow, whatever the hell. But like, I mean, I don't know what's in her brain. I mean, I like you said, like she's always been an attractive lady, but but whatever her face
Uh,
looks like, she's going to be in the Rumble, and I think she wins the Rumble. I think Charlotte comes back with a bang. She's a big star. WrestleMania is about big stars. I think it makes sense. And speaking of big stars, WrestleMania is about big stars. The winner of the men's Rumble is going to be John Cena.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the WrestleMania. Like when
Wow.
Daniel, remember when Daniel Bryan was on his run and people were throwing fits and they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it, and I'm like, you morons! They want to do it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's when that's the biggest thing. What's better than the old dog coming back and winning the Rumble and going to fucking WrestleMania and taking the title for the 17th time? People want to see that. And honestly,
Yeah.
like he's a big enough star that like it carries. Like he's a huge star. And again, it's about big stars. And him and Cody is and they'll make it good, right? They're gonna do a good job. They'll have a good match. Cena can still work really well. I think it's gonna be Cena and Charlotte. I
Wow.
think that's going with the veterans. But
And
you
nobody
know,
picked our tribal chief. I'll just throw up some acknowledgement for him.
I think he's got other business.
Right.
I think
I
he's
don't.
looking at the Rock. I still think it's the Rock.
I don't think them other bloodline boys let him walk. I just don't feel like Jacob and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are gonna let him walk. I feel like every time he hits the ring, they're gonna try to make good a good shot at him, try to not necessarily, focus on the match. They don't really care about the match. I feel like if Roman's in there with another bloodline member other than Jimmy and Jey Uso, I'm not 100% sure he makes it out of that, out of the ring. And I'm not
I
saying
just
that because, it'll be a one-on-one thing. It'll be kind of like what we had at War Games where there's the outnumbering and we're going to have to even out those numbers at some point.
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, Roman. I just think he's got other business. I think if you put on at WrestleMania nights 1 and 2, one night's The Rock versus Roman, the other night it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
Oof.
And you know what? If they do John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, what I want, I don't think it'll happen because he has the knee problem. But I would love it if they made Austin the guest ref.
Yeah.
Austin,
Where's May? Oh, it's in Vegas. Yeah.
and he doesn't want to leave Vegas, but he's in Vegas. Just went on some friggin' doom buggy gimmick, so I'm sure he could referee a match. And like that's the perfect role for him. The old, Cena versus like the new Cena with Stone Cold in the middle. I mean, that's money.
If
Yeah.
You know.
only there was a chance for Stone Cold to get in there with some beer company that maybe not be going over so well with some of the fans. Also, big
Allegedly.
FU to Stone Cold, who's had that beer forever. Hulk comes
Yeah, but
around
like
for a year with this thing in there. Let's bring him on.
Yeah, but I think Dana White and the like. Let's be honest, like all those like Dana White is the trumper and Hogan's the trumper and the UFC and WWE are kind of owned by the same company, so I think that's probably where the connection came in. But
Oh yeah.
I bet you that beer sucks. I mean, it's American beer number one, respectfully, George, but so it's not, you know, up to our standard. But I bet you it's not good. I would
I
imagine it's not
will,
very good.
as a Canadian citizen, full Canadian passport, the whole nine, born and raised. The best beer, Jack, hang on, comes from the States.
Okay.
That is it Natty? Natty Light?
You a natural
Ooh.
light guy?
I love it. People are like, that doesn't even taste
Hey,
like beer. I'm like, I know.
No.
I love it.
See, I'll take your word for it. I'm not a big beer guy, but I bet you the real American beer is dog shit.
And I'm sure it's just all light crap.
Yeah, brother.
I'm not gonna, go out and find it. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I drink Hennessy, so that. So good luck with y'all.
You know what
I'll
I
have
want
a
to
beer
get up
with you
here
though,
that we
but
can't get, and
mm,
until maybe we become the 51st state, is Snoop and Dre have a gin and juice
Oh,
uh
really?
cocktail. Yeah, like a collab. It's shit.
nah. I mean, I get drunk off of anything. I'll just put it to you like this. I've had it before. It's not something in my mind that's special. I look when I go outside. I'm going outside to try the most extravagant shit. That's why I have to stay between these four walls a lot. I work from home. I live here. I do my show right here. I don't go outside a lot. Dallas is a crazy place. I don't know if you know that, but
Yeah.
hey, Google it.
Dallas
It's
is
really
undefeated,
boy.
allegedly.
It's got its own TikTok pages. It's just undefeated. Like it's a crazy place. I enjoy it so much because so much happens here. Um,
Hmm.
you know, I think that's just kind of the territory.
Hmm.
But
I I got a question for you guys. I got another question about the Rumble. Um, what about who does the Diesel spot? And I here's my prediction. I think Jacob Fatu. I think he does the Diesel spot where you eliminate a bunch of dudes like at once. I think it's him. I think because that's always the way you highlight somebody, and I think they highlight him unless like Obafemi's in the Rumble, and then
Is
they
that
do it with him. But I don't think he is.
are you talking
I
where
don't think he
like
would be.
the big guy goes down and goes like
No,
that
no,
and
I'm
punches?
talking about the
Nah,
person who eliminates like 12 guys. Remember when Kane eliminated like
Kane
12
does it.
guys in a
Yeah,
row?
Oh
I would
yeah,
say
okay, just
I would call it
running
the Kane
through.
spot. I
Yeah,
would call it the Kane spot more
the
than
Kane spot.
anything. Kane
Yeah,
kind of does
so
it every year.
What about Brock Lesnar?
I
He
think
did it
he's
for a while.
excommunicado.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not if he shows up, he's probably gonna get that Hogan salute. Like
Oh shit, the
he,
Hogan
And he
salute.
won't give a damn. He doesn't care.
he don't care, no. But I don't think he'll be more welcomed. So
You
yeah,
know,
that Hogan salute is gonna definitely kind of be one to have.
the
See,
worst
Matt,
part.
my sorry,
So I was just
go
saying the
ahead.
worst part about all this Hulk Hogan shit is that I went to his store when I was in Tampa, and I
Hmm.
bought a beautiful shirt. It's black on black. It's gorgeous. It's got Hulkamania. It's got him like a silhouette. I've worn it 4 times, and now I can't wear it.
Well,
Not without backlash.
No, he's a racist asshole. I'm like, damn it. And then I heard my buddy told me the Mark Henry story where he like basically offered, well, not basically, he said, listen, we can make this right. I have connections within the black community. We'll go to black colleges. I will be your guiding hand. I'm like, fuck. Like Mark Henry is like the Godfather. And and Hogan was like, no, I'm okay. And then apologized for being filmed. I just can't get over it.
It's a litany. It's a that list
Yes,
is
it
long,
is.
you
baby.
know, you know why he was even at Raw? He heard it was January 6th, so he came
Oh,
running.
but that's
Hey man,
Alleged.
hey,
fantastic.
hey, that's nuts. Hey, move it on. Back to the
So,
Rumble, baby. Back to the
so
Rumble.
back to the Rumble. Like the Rumble match, like obviously was created by Pat Patterson. the mind of Pat Patterson who created it, and like because he always did the old San Francisco Battle Royal, and he thought, why not bring guys in reverse? And there's been a lot of Rumble matches over, and some of them are good, and some of them weren't as good. But Matt, we picked the top 5 here, so we're going to kick it off with you. Give us your top 2 Rumbles of all time,
My top 2,
and why.
number 2 is the 1998 Royal Rumble.
Mm.
It
Stone
is
Cold the winner.
Stone
Yep.
Cold's first of 3. Again, it highlights that Stone Cold Bret Hart rivalry.
No, that's 97.
That's 97.
You're thinking of 97.
Oh, I got here. They Bret eliminated Austin. Was that the
Yeah, that was
Final Four pay-per-view?
no, the
That was
Final
97
Four.
in San Antonio.
Yeah, 97 was the Rumble. You're right, though. You're on the money. It was, and it's definitely deserves to be in the top 5.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I got the wrong year. The Alamo Dome. It was Sid and
That's 97.
That's
Okay,
97.
my mistake.
97, and it was
I was like, wait, first a minute. I was like, when you said first, I was like, that was 97. What? I'm not.
97. We got it.
It's not my pick. I don't want to mess nothing up.
They
But
gave
it's-
him the Canadian
My
contingent
hands
today.
up. My
it's
hands up.
it's the one where Austin gets eliminated, but the refs don't see it,
Yeah.
and then he sneaks back in.
And there's just a couple of like it's Stone Cold looking at his watch. He's doing push-ups, waiting for the next guy. Jake comes in. He gets on his knees and prays Jake's whole entrance. Like it's just great Stone Cold. And then of
Yeah,
course at the end, Bret bitches to Vince, like and just like I'm
yeah,
screwed. And I think that kind of ignited the whole Bret. Only the Canadians like Bret.
yeah. That was it. Yeah,
Just
and it
being
led to like,
Vince.
in my opinion, it led to the greatest. In my opinion, it led to the greatest match ever, and that was Austin and Brett at WrestleMania 13.
Yeah,
But
and George, you may know more about AAA being from the kind of the southern states than we do, but we only knew like when they were like, we got AAA wrestlers coming in. The only lucha libre that we knew was Jose Lothario, who was like Shawn Michaels' manager at the time.
Hmm.
Right, Jack? Did we have luchadors up here?
we had it was on Latino, like late night, like Saturdays. I
Yes, all the
watched it. Yeah.
Corona advertisements on the
Yeah.
ring.
So I watched a bit of it. And WCW was cooking by then too. So like if you got TBS, and we
Right.
were lucky up here that George had to flip channels, but Raw was on Mondays and Nitro was on Tuesdays because Raw up here, Raw kicked the shit out of Nitro like every week.
Yeah.
So they get that Monday night spot. So, but it's yeah, but yeah, they had like some weird arrows, and like I think Hector Garza was in it.
Yeah,
And
Bill
just,
Masteris was like, yeah, it was just, yeah.
I love when they have weird guys in it, though. It really makes I think it makes it interesting. So,
And it was a dome. Like
yeah, it
that's
was a huge crowd.
Yeah, it
which
was a
I
huge
love
crowd.
that about the new kind of version of the Rumble.
Yeah, it's a big event. It's really big.
Mhm.
So, 97, I like that one, George. We talked about that earlier today about how much I like it. So, that's your other one. What's your second pick there, Matt?
My favorite Rumble of all time is the
Yeah.
2020 Rumble.
Okay.
That was when Brock just like that to me was the most perfectly booked Rumble. You had Brock as the champion entering, and then just as people walk in, he tosses them. You're coming in, you're gone, you're gone. And then you had Edge return that day too, like that Rumble. And then you set up even Brock's elimination with like Kofi and Ricochet and then Drew. Like it took his big feuds of that year all to come together. And then Drew, the only thing I didn't like was Drew just kept staring at him like a weirdo. Like he was just like with his hair, he's like, oh, I'm staring at you. Oh, but not, yeah, shit. Like he just kept looking at him. But yeah.
I was like, it was a weird setup at that point, but I know exactly what you mean. I was just like, the stare is kind of weird. They're focusing way too much on it. Then all of a sudden, Brock gets kicked in the nuts from behind, and it's just like, all right, that's what the stare was for. But it's just like, I know what you mean. It was like, all right, please move this along. He
Let's
looks
move.
good. He looks a little weird. He's looking at him a little too crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know if I like this. Are we
Right.
still wrestling? Things like that. So of course, no, that was a good year. 2020 was a great year. I have no beef with 2020. I
Yeah,
feel like it was a good year because of everything that was happening in the world at that moment.
Hmm.
We still needed some kind of continuity as far as having something to watch that was still real good. So 2020 was a great year to kind of have the Royal Rumble, and that year was actually really good. So
yeah.
kudos to you. I'll take that. I'll take that.
So George, give us your one. Give us your pick. Well, that's the top five.
I'm going all the way back to 2002.
Oh, okay.
That lineup of wrestlers was fantastic from start to finish. It starts off with Rikishi, the Big Boss Man, and Goldust. Then you got Bradshaw before the JBL, like right before. So you had a little bit of a haircut in there, but you had the pants that showed Bradshaw, but not JBL. Then you had Lance Storm, Al Snow, Billy Gunn comes in because he's half Billy and Chuck. The Undertaker, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Maven, who goes over on the Undertaker that year,
Nice.
which
Yeah, great
I'm gonna be
spot.
honest, like who saw that
Yeah.
coming?
Historical.
Perfect way to get over on somebody. And I was thinking, like, I went back and watched it. Like when we talked about this, I was like, let me go back and watch some of these, Royal
Hmm.
Rumbles and see which one I keep, something about 2002 just kept sticking out to me. And I was just like, why does it stick out? Diamond Dallas Page was in it. So I had my WCW fixes. Everybody know I'm the WCW guy on this show. So at the end of the day, I had to have my little WCW plug as like not necessarily a guest because at that point the merger was already done and everybody's kind of still sticking around who was going to be there. You had Booker T and people like that who were in the Royal Rumble as well.
Mr. Perfect returned to that
Mr.
Rumble.
Perfect returned that night. Um,
Nice.
and of course, it was won by one Triple H. And at that point in time, you had to give it up to
He was in great shape.
him. Great. Yeah. Big as shit.
He must have had to spend a lot of time in the gym, like almost 30 hours a day.
40 days a week. Just iron. Nobody's seen
Just
him for months.
But as
But
big
it
as
was
he
just a
was, I
wellness
didn't have a
program.
big temper backstage around that
That's
time.
just clean living. Like,
hmm
but like no, like I mean, he was like it was a good Rumble. Like I mean, Triple H coming back, like the pop he got when he decided to come back was massive. He looked great. I don't, that other stuff I don't care about. He looked fantastic. Yeah, star-studded
Absolutely.
lineup, well booked. George, that's a great pick. But
It
listen,
is.
you know where I'm going to go. I think to me, and I'm going to say to me, there's one number one, and it's 1992. And the reason I think is it's the most unique Royal Rumble because it's the only one that was ever contested for the title. And that's its importance level in it is just, and then you look at the lineup of the 30 people in it, 15 are Hall of Famers.
Wow.
And like, yeah, you're talking about like, and Ric Flair, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, The Undertaker, Jimmy Snuka was in it, Sergeant Slaughter was in it, Hacksaw Duggan, Jake the Snake, Ted DiBiase, like a who's who of that business, and just one after another. And if anybody hasn't ever seen a Jim Cornette's, he does a watch along on the '92 Royal Rumble. It's fantastic.
Oh, really?
It's so good. It's so good, and it's such a high level look at it. But it's just like even a guy like Tito Santana, who is like the best guy in the world. Matt, oh my God, Matt, like you believe me, your sense of humor, you would love Tito Santana.
Oh, yeah. Like you're talking as like a one-on-one, like a
I
dude.
met him. Yeah, I met
Oh,
him. I
no.
rode with him for sure for a show. We show up at
Awesome.
McCully's place. McCully's yard is like this long, this tall. It's like insane. And Tito, he does a good job mowing his lawn. McCully gets in. Tito doesn't even introduce himself. He's like, great job mowing your lawn. Just, thanks. He's great, but like the star-studded lineup, and you talk about being well booked. I mean, to put everything on Flair and everybody coming in, and you always have.
Yeah.
Why I like the '97 one, it had that spot, the Austin, where he's like, well, the Flair spot is with Roddy Piper, where Flair's in the ring, and he eliminated a bunch of dudes. He's by himself, and of course Heenan's like, Flair wins it, Flair wins it, and it's like, and Heenan's just like, you got 6 seconds, 6, 5, 4, and then Roddy comes out, and it's just like the place goes crazy,
Yeah.
and they just do the whole thing. I just think it's so well done. The talent is amazing, and it was for the title. And what makes it unique, I think, is the single greatest color commentary performance in the history of wrestling. Because Bobby Heenan was
Oh.
so good in that Rumble. It was just like,
Oh, I
to
love
me,
that open bias back in the day.
yeah. Oh, that's why I'm so happy Jesse's there. It's like he can add that now. Like, I mean, because guys have to kind of be, but Bobby was great, and it's just the level of talent. Like even a guy like Kerry Von Erich, who might not, be a big name, but like for a long time, he was one of the best, like the biggest stars in the world. And it was just, and everybody came in and nobody did fancy spots. There wasn't any of that. It was like everybody just worked
Word.
and everybody was different and everybody was like a big star. Because obviously this era is big and huge in terms of viewership and money because like there's more ways to make money. There's more ways to watch the show. Like you don't just have to watch it on television. You can watch, but like every television set in North America for sure, and a lot of them around the world would tune into WWE back then. So it was so big. So 92 for me, if we're gonna make a top five, it's number one. It's for me, it's number one with a bullet. Just because I think the element of being for the title and the fact that Ric Flair won it, I think is just how he won it, and just it was unbelievable. But we have one more to go, one number five. So we always throw one out. I got a good one, Matt. Throw a name out for the contender for the number five or the fifth one. We organize them later.
Royal Rumbles. I mean, I I know it hasn't happened yet. I think this Rumble coming up, like I'll give you a legitimate answer, but I think
Yeah.
this Rumble coming up is going to be one of the greatest of all time. It has to be with all of those major stars. I don't ever remember looking forward to a Royal Rumble lineup ever in my life.
Not
Like,
just the stars though, but the intrigue. Like you don't know where they're gonna go. Like we
yeah,
just picked three different people, each of us.
yeah, exactly. It's just
Yeah.
going to be fantastic. But as far as another pick, what did I do? Oh, I did 2008, which I may have the year wrong, but that was Cena's return.
Oh,
For
that was a
that,
good one.
Mm.
Super Cena like kind of persona that kind of hated at the time, but now I look back on it and I love it, which
Yeah.
is same thing how I look back at kind of life in general. It's like, oh, this sucks. It wasn't that bad, really, when you look back on it. It could have been a lot fucking worse. But I think that pop, and I think it was in Madison Square Garden
It
too,
was. Yeah.
which is kind of like the 31st man in the Rumble, like that
Yeah.
crowd, like because you had like Tommy Dreamer come in, the place exploded for
Bob
Tommy Dreamer.
Backlund. No, that was a different one. That was a different one. But yeah.
But still, it was in Madison Square Garden, and he had a huge pop. That was,
Yeah.
yeah, I forget what Rumble that was, but yeah.
2008. Um. So George, what's the one for you? Because I know where I'm going. You may take it.
I don't know if I'll take it, but we'll see. I'm going 2005, where
Batista's win.
Batista wins over John Cena.
Was that the tumble?
I think that
No,
was
that's another
no,
year.
no, that was another year.
That's where
But
Vince blew his quads.
Vince, Vince Blue's quads was crazy. That year was the first year me and my best friend from back home actually had a chance to watch the Rumble, and we watched it. And when Vince tried to climb in the ring and stood up and was just like, I laughed from a good, healthy place because I was like, that's not supposed to happen because he's sitting in the ring pouting like a child, like,
Yeah.
God damn it, like that Vince
That's right. That's right.
like it was ridiculous. So nah, I'll take 2005. Um, not the way
God
when
damn it!
blew his cards, but
But that was
Batista
perfect,
legitimately
right?
won.
That they fell like that and it wasn't caught on
Oh
camera,
yeah,
like, and or it was caught on camera, but
no,
they
it was
did
Yeah.
land
it
at the
was
same time.
simultaneous at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was definitely one of them to kind of that was one to remember.
Yeah.
But this one, the lineup was a little bit better for me. They had a couple weird spots. This is the one where Daniel Puder got his ass kicked for about 45 minutes
Receipt
in the beginning
Festival.
of the match. Because Eddie Guerrero started off, then Chris Benoit comes in, Daniel Puder, then Hardcore Holly.
Yeah.
So they trapped that man in that ring. That was terrible. Then the Hurricane comes in after that. So it's just like, okay, and then Edge, you got Rey Mysterio, Shelton Benjamin, Booker T, Chris Jericho. Um, the one entrance on this list that kind of sticks out to me for the obvious reason, because everybody else was a wrestler, and I don't think there was really the big guest, you know, appearance in this year. But Jonathan Coachman was in this particular Royal Rumble. And I'm just like, nobody else?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know you bookmarked Jindrak, but nobody else. So that was my only question mark as far as why they put him in there. And then, of
Oh,
course, they had this was the time where Gene Snitsky was battling
oh,
Kane a lot. So they had that feud going as well.
Very
oh,
punted
it's
the
just
Gene
baby.
Snitsky was probably one of the
a,
worst gimmicks ever. He didn't make the worst gimmicks list, which not shocked that he didn't. But at the same time, I'm gonna say this: any persona where bad hygiene is the focus never works. Get that funky motherfucker out of here. His teeth was on purpose yellow. He had horrible acne. He was a walking
oh,
dick.
he had back knee. He had back
He had
knee. That's
Well, so did Triple
everything.
H in 2002.
Like
allegedly. Allegedly.
that, he looked like Triple H after the needles. If you like was a raw product, that's exactly what Triple H looked like. I
Oh
was like,
shit.
man, it was so bad. Gene Snitsky,
Oh,
thumbs up for making history at some point because that was a scene to be had. But 2005 is my entrance, of course.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good
well,
year.
I'm gonna
Which,
pick the year
huh?
2000. The year
Great.
2000. It's a good, really good Rumble. I mean, it has the great spot with Rikishi and Too Cool where they dance.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Rikishi throws a bunch of dudes out. There's a great spot with like Rikishi threw out somebody and then out comes Viscera. It was just, um, but it had, I mean, obviously The Rock won it, so that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it had the spot with Taka Michinoku getting thrown out by
Oh,
Gangrel and the Boss Man, where he triple flipped and ran it flat in his face. So
Yeah, I remember
was Shane
that.
McMahon speaking for him at the time, or was he able to say that his orbital bone hurt?
I don't know. You might remember it, but Taka sure as hell don't. I'll guarantee you that. But I just thought it was a really good Rumble, a lot of star power, heart of the Attitude Era, and I think I think it belongs on the list. I just think it was so solid, and the talent in it,
I would say
was
so. I would say so. You know what? I can't really argue with 2000 because if you look at the lineup as far as who was in it, you know literally every name that's in it. If I went from 1 to 30 right now, you would know everybody I mentioned. And that's not
yeah.
even because of, there was a special entrance or anything like that. I mean, of course, you know Bob Backlund. He's one of the first,
Bob
at Royal
Backlund, that's the
Rumble.
one he was in because that was in the Garden.
Right.
Oh right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it went from D'Lo Brown to Grandmaster Sexay, Marsh, Christian, Rikishi, Scotty 2 Hotty, Steve Blackman, Viscera, Big Boss Man, Test, the British Bulldog, Gangrel, Edge, Bob Backlund, Chris Jericho, Crash Holly. China was in this one, which actually was a good spot to put her in too because there weren't very many women in Royal Rumbles.
Mhm.
So
she
her
was like
being
the
in
first.
yeah, there wasn't very many women, not
Yeah,
very many. So yeah, she was in it for Road Dogg, Al Snow, Val Venus, Prince Albert,
Oh
Hardcore
yeah.
Holly, The Rock, Billy Gunn, Big Show, Bradshaw, Kane, Godfather, and X Pac. 30 people right there I just named. And you probably be like, well, yeah, no, him. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when a lineup like that happens, the only thing you can do is play with the numbers, who's coming out next.
yeah.
Like you're interested, you're on your toes because the next superstar is potentially the winner. Like you
Yeah.
really couldn't pick a winner out of this unless you were, trying to target somebody. And because you can easily say the Big Show could have won it, Kane could have won it, X Pac could have won it because he came in at 30. That could have been a whole thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Xbox One woman.
Yeah, but
That's like somebody picking the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl. All respect to Xbox.
you know what? That hold on, that's an inside joke to the show for those who don't know. We had a sports episode here a couple months back, and of course, we definitely have to redo that because we're definitely in a specific era. Somebody on this show, I'm not gonna say any names, John, but somebody
It
on
ain't
this
Matt.
show is made the boldest claim that the Atlanta Falcons were going to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I
of
wanted
what
to hang.
sport?
Yeah, that's
They
what I'm
make the
saying.
Stanley Cup playoffs before they make it to the Super Bowl.
And that's what I was. He tried to convince me on Kirk Cousins. I was like,
Oh my
yeah.
god,
The man got
Uh,
benched like week 11, so it was like
anyway,
Super Bowl
fantastic!
bust, baby. But
so
nevertheless,
yeah,
2000 is a really good year to
I
create.
like it, but
So I
and
won't argue.
I think having a big lineup is important to how the Rumble shakes down. Like that's why I
Absolutely.
think this year you mentioned like there's a lot of everything's hopping. They have a lot of good angles, and but I would put 2000. Matt, do you agree? Can we put like are we going to go majority rules here and throw 2000 on there?
I'll put it
Like
up, but I do want to take off some points for it. And
okay,
but and I don't know if it is probably only me, but the only thing I would take away from that Royal Rumble is the lackluster main event of the WrestleMania.
Mm,
I cannot separate the Rumble from the reward, like the cash. Even when you're going through years of Rumbles, in my mind, I'm trying to match it to the WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, wait, what happened there? Who won that one? Oh yeah, now you're talking. And they get extra points, but it's almost like if they lead into that WrestleMania 2000, I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. But
well, I mean that's fair. I mean,
but as a
George, do
standalone
you
Rumble,
agree?
I do like it, and I will
Yeah.
vote to put it in. But I
Okay,
just wanted
so
to drag it
that's
a little
fair. No,
bit.
that's a fair point. I mean, like you know, so we got 92, we got 2020, 2000 and 2000, and George, you picked 2002, and
mhm.
Matt, your other pick was 1997. So we have
Yes.
a five potential. For me, I know I think we got to start at the top. I think 92 is the best one ever. I think it's got the best lineup. And you mentioned about leading into WrestleMania. Like Flair and Savage at WrestleMania 8 was incredible,
Mhm.
absolutely incredible. And like Shawn Michaels was in that Rumble, and like a young Shawn Michaels just threw Marty Jannetty through the window.
Well, and Sid Hogan too, right? Like it
Yeah, it
set
was a big
that whole elimination. Like at the end of that Rumble, what is it? Does Sid pull Hogan out? Or no, Hogan pulls
no.
Sid.
Hogan pulls
Pull
Sid out.
it out.
That's
Yeah,
right, because Sid eliminated.
Hogan,
Yeah,
and then Flair eliminates all of them.
all of them.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's got the best post match promo. We didn't even talk about the post match
Oh,
promo,
tear my eye, come
my, which is
on.
the great one, probably the best. And then Mean Gene, put that cigarette out.
Yeah. Even Charlotte referenced that in her return video. She's
Yeah,
like,
like
I'm coming back with a tear in my eye.
it's a
Yeah.
classic.
That would even be the I think that's the greatest promo I've ever seen. Like
It's
Mm.
one of them.
I
It's
like
so good.
it's the I don't ever remember quoting a promo ever more in my life than a tear in my eye.
I
Maybe
smell a
Yeah,
hell
top
yeah,
five.
but
I
Austin
smell a top
316
five.
probably,
yeah.
but
I
it
smell
was
a top
great. And he did it on the fly. Like he
What do you
just
mean? It's all called in the ring?
no. Well, the Rumble's probably booked a lot. They have certain spots, but for the most part, the guys just kind of work. So that they did, but that promo, the event was live, so he did that promo on the fly, live. There was no script.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Here, let me redo that. Oh, we're live here, pal.
Yeah,
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
but
See, but for me, that was never a big. It's only in hindsight have I been able to appreciate that Rumble, because as a kid with no access to WCW, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy with a
yeah,
blurred title? Fuck him. He's not Hulk Hogan, who I know. He's not the Ultimate Warrior. And so at the time, I didn't like it. I thought that they had a blurred title was so dumb. And
Yeah.
then as an adult, I got like the Royal Rumble collection. And I remember
Oh yeah.
watching them all and being like, all right, I gotta lift my 92 bias because this is really good. I think we all wished there would have been Hogan and Flair, but I mean Randy and Flair.
There was yeah.
Not
You
a
don't.
I
bad
mean,
second.
I'm
So
about to say,
I
look, if I had a substitute, that would definitely get
uh,
run up. It could have been Randy, it could have been Piper, it could have been either one.
Mm-hmm.
I told this story before. This is my Ric Flair Randy Savage story. So I'm into wrestling because of my dad. My dad always took me to shows. So one time we go to Newmarket, and my dad takes me. It's 1992. It's like July, and I go with my buddy Mike. My buddy Mike's got glasses. We're up in the stands, looking like this. My dad's getting kind of aggravated. He's like, "Who bought these seats?" I said, "Well, Mom bought them. She said they were the best available." He's like, "This is bullshit." Dad walks down, goes to the box office, says to the lady, she's like, "Miss, I'm sorry, but when we called for tickets, we were supposed to get up close." What's my This young man's legally blind. He can't be sitting that far in the back.
Got a couple of kids from Make-A-Wish here, dear. Maybe you
Yeah.
get something special. Here's a tenner.
Second
Here's some
row
food.
ringside,
Yeah.
and Ric Flair and Randy Savage was the main event.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That's
that.
fantastic.
Listen,
Shout out to Pop.
dad was always going to do something for his kids, but for me, that's the one. So George, I think Matt, if we're going to build a list, I think we have
I'd lock
so
that in.
90.
I'd be comfortable.
Yeah, I think most people, but we got 2020, 2000, 2002, 97. What's number 5?
What were the years again?
2020, 2000, 2002, and 1997.
I'm gonna say 2020 got to be a 5.
Wow. How do I disconnect from this? How do I disconnect from this
Don't worry,
chat
I can
and
see y'all.
leave
Don't
you
worry about
haters?
it. Look, it's a
Shut up.
top 5.
Go, whatever.
It's
Talk.
not. How many
Whatever.
Royal
Talk.
Rumbles is it? Like
Go. Okay,
30?
talk. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you have to
30?
say. No, I'm sure it's going to be really good. No.
He's a Bills fan.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Jeez.
He's not actually. I'm just saying.
I was
In
about to
that
say,
moment, he was.
that's right.
whew, whew, don't scare me like that. I was
You
about
know, I was okay to put to put 2000 at number 5.
that
That's
is
what I had.
ridiculous. That is ridiculous, sir.
That's
No,
ridiculous. Okay,
no, 2000 can go at 5. I'm okay with that. 2000 can definitely go at 5. But
I would
4
put 2020 at 4 though.
at 2020 at 4 because it's
Yeah.
not that high up. I'm gonna say it's not that high up off that because
And it's so recent.
Yeah,
that's
That's another hard thing to accept, that what we're seeing now is going to go down as the greatest of all time, like beyond
absolutely.
this extended Mount Rushmore.
yeah. It's you definitely it's definitely interesting because while having watched wrestling for 40 fucking years, I just I really get the sense that kids are looking at like guys like Cody Rhodes as I did with you know the guys I watched back in the day, and
100%. And
Absolutely.
Jay Uso, like
all those guys.
the amount, the big shift from when the 90s, when I was going to wrestling like as like kind of like a teen, to now, the merch is insane. The amount of
It's
t-shirts that are flying out of there. And you know what the biggest thing is? Titles. How many people bring titles to these
That's
things?
why they have so many titles. That like people are like, why do we need that many titles? Because they sell
They can
belts.
sell them.
Yeah, and they sell with fanatics, so they sell for like a. They have a really high price point. Like, so
Yeah.
then people buy them.
And they got them for
Like
every sports team now. And
Hmm.
like, yeah.
some of them look horrible. Or we did an episode on belts
Oh, the
with
Blue Jays one
Cameron.
looks atrocious.
Yeah, well,
The one
Yeah.
for the Chiefs ain't my
better than
favorite.
better than the
But
lineup last year.
Yeah, that is true.
So like we're back here. Number 3, I think I'm going to put 2002.
2002 definitely can go at 3.
Yeah, and then
That was
97 is definitely
Maven.
2. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
Maven.
Like, as far as if you did a list of, like, if you did the next top 5 on Royal Rumble spots, that's it. That's in the 3. That's top 3
Oh,
of all
absolutely.
time. Like, that's how
Yeah,
big that moment's bigger than that Rumble, I think.
That
Yeah,
moment
it's
is
one of the
literally,
things people remember.
Yeah.
no disrespect to Maven, but that moment literally is his entire career.
Yeah.
Like everything he did after that was still good. He still had a bunch of good matches. He had a great personality change that kind of boosted his career a little bit too. But that moment is why you remember Maven. From
Yes.
Yeah.
being from Tough Enough, getting on there and taking out the biggest dog in the fight.
Yeah. I
We were
just like,
gonna
Hands
do
down one of the best performances.
and just
Gotta
to,
have
like,
it.
to think of the Undertaker being the quote big dog and being like, all right, here, Maven, here's what we're gonna do. Or however that goes. And the
yeah.
Undertaker, like, all right, I'm good to get eliminated by this reality TV
He
show
brought it up.
rookie.
He did
And
it. He brought it.
Amazing.
yeah.
So
You know what's interesting though about 2002 is you talk about moving to WrestleMania. They had a good plan for WrestleMania with Jericho and Triple H.
Hmm.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the wrench thrown into that goddamn plan was they didn't realize that Toronto was a Hogan town.
Yep.
Everybody said they were shocked. I'm like, man, that match started like on the skywalk to the Sky Dome. I was there. I'm like, I was here in '86 when he sold out 76,000. I'm like, it's gonna turn. They're gonna cheer for Hogan, and that's the
We
only thing. Because on paper, Triple H and Jericho, they've had great matches, but they
yeah.
just couldn't follow that.
I mean, they really should have switched it. They all knew at access. They should
Yeah.
have known when we had no acts like really kind of experience with WCW. So we weren't Hogan wasn't saturated for us. He was
Yeah.
brand new. We hadn't seen him since he was with WWF.
Well, like live anyways. Like
You
he
and
had
I
made it.
had because we're wrestling nerds, but I'm
Yeah,
talking the rest of
the
what we
average
call
person.
normal people, people with girlfriends.
Allegedly. So our top five, I think, is a good one, gentlemen. Number five is 2000. We got 2020 at number four, 2002 at number three, 1997 at number two, which is a really great one. The whole Austin and Brett thing. And again, you want to talk about leading to a great WrestleMania match,
Yeah.
like Brett versus Austin, don't get better. And then the King of the Mountain is 1992. Matt, is there any other ones that you thought of that might be under the radar? We like the honorable mention sections. There any ones that are under the radar that you recall?
Not fully, like not a full Rumble match, but
Mhm.
there are certain spots,
Okay.
like the Kofi spot I want to
Yeah.
discuss with you guys because that obviously it's always not always some of it's better than others. Like the pogo chair, I thought was awesome. The Big E catching, whatever, but with heel Kofi, are they going to incorporate that and have a face wreck it, or would they not even give the fans anything to cheer for the New Day?
Well, they're going to have to get eliminated at some point.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So, and it's going to be a massive pop. So, I think they're going to make something out of that, and they're going to make someone out of that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
who's going to
Somebody
get
be
the
real.
spot to eliminate the New Day, and I think it's going to be somebody who's going to get because you're going to probably maybe go forward feud with them or something like that. So,
yeah,
yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's always an interesting. Like you said, some are better than others, but I think they
yeah.
use it.
Like the railing run. I'm like, okay, the jumping to the announce table. Or okay, what about this spot where the announcer takes the headset off? So Jerry the King, he does it, gets smoked. That's the only time I feel it works is when Jerry the King, an active heel announcer,
I
is
loved
shit
it.
talking, takes his headset off, goes in there, gets eliminated, comes back, puts it back on. What did I miss, McMahon? Like,
Or he was like, I wasn't ready. I love the
yes,
I love the 3 second. Like I love Bushwhacker Luke and Santino
yes,
when he was like, I wasn't ready. I
yeah.
wasn't
I one
ready.
more time.
Like,
I wasn't ready.
you know, I always love the big guy spot. Like takes like 12 guys to eliminate one person.
Yes.
I always think that's a cool spot.
Oh, you're cutting
They
out a
did
bit,
it.
Jack.
Really? Hold on. Am I there?
Your video, I think, was fine, but your audio cut dropped a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a rat chewing on a wire.
Hold on 1 second.
No, I refuse to hold on. Oh my God, dude, you just jumped to the side of the wall. Are you a shapeshifter?
What?
Did anybody else see that? I just went like this, like it was
Well,
nothing. Yeah, big guy spots are always good. I like when Jerry the King Lawler used to change
yeah.
his pick with every new entrant.
Every new entrance. That's my
Yeah.
pick right there. Like, what? Get out of it. But Jack, what King, I remember he did that one year when Rey Mysterio returned, and my pick was right there. I knew he was coming in all along. Jerry, please.
Yeah.
Please.
I told you.
I told you. That's my pick right there. Like every pick, bro. It was like it's like you did it 6 times already. You
Yeah.
picked and changed. You
Yeah.
only get one, bro. So yeah, nah.
Who's
If I
an
had
under?
to,
Go
I
ahead,
was gonna
George.
say this. If I had to throw an honorable mention in as far as entertaining Royal Rumbles to watch, 99, the year Vince McMahon won,
Yes.
And he's yoked
because
to the gills.
yes, and
Well,
him
he
and
didn't win
Stone Cold.
Austin one, didn't he?
No,
No,
Oh yeah, Vince
McMahon
won.
Vince won because he
Vince won.
cheated. He
That's
Yeah.
cheated.
right.
Yeah, no, Vince won that shit. No, so it started off with them two. They were in there for the longest amount of
That's
time.
right.
And they fought
So
all over the building.
yeah, they fought literally everywhere.
Mhm.
And so yeah, no, I would have to throw 99 in there as a
Good
literally
call.
a really big catch because I want to say when 99 happened, if I'm not mistaken, Owen Hart, China was at 30. Yeah, so 99 definitely.
Didn't China eliminate? Was that when she eliminated Mark Henry?
Yeah,
I think
because
that was.
yeah, because Mark was
Dumped
in
his
there
ass out.
Was he
for
sexual
about
chocolate?
7
Was he her
minutes.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
girlfriend?
He was sexual
Yeah.
chocolate.
that was when she was his girlfriend or whatever. He was acting like he was, China, you
He
gotta
All
say
wanted,
that
horned
word for
up.
me,
he wanted it before he got Mae Young. Like, yeah.
which was like a plot twist from hell. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
But all right, I'll take it. So
The
yeah, no,
hand.
99 is definitely one I'll throw in there because of the one entertaining factor of it. I think the lineup was good too.
Mhm.
One person that they had in here that I would love to have seen go a lot further, simply because of how much of a badass in the fight he would be. Dan Severn. I
Oh,
would love
was
to have
he in
seen
this
Dan.
Rumble? So
Yeah, he was in
geez.
this one. I would love to have seen Dan have a little bit longer of a run. He lasted about 5 minutes, but if he would have got a good 10 minutes in there, he probably could have won that motherfucker. Because
Oh,
at that
shit.
point, Dan was a monster. Like I watched Dan fighting other shit. Like I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
now they should really get Dan on some hand to hand combat shit. But I don't think that. Look, you remember that brawl for it all?
Yeah.
When they had the boxing,
Oh, it was horrible.
that shit.
Butterbean.
Butterbean for some reason they had Butterbean come in and beat the shit out the winner because they didn't want to pay him. Basically, it's
Like,
like what kind of reward is that?
I was like, I
I
think I
I
watched a crime.
like that's basically what that was. It was a crime. So you get all right. So you get told, all right, whoever wins this fight tournament, you get a match with the world heavyweight champion. And they never said of what sport.
What?
So they send out Butterbean for your ass in a boxing match to
Oh.
beat the dog shit out of you, man. I was like, Bart Gunn, I wish Bart Gunn had enough to actually beat Butterbean, because then I would be like, bro, he should have
Oh.
did that and just quit.
He just wasn't a pro boxer. That's the
No, he
problem.
wasn't. Yeah, no, he wasn't. And hell,
Like,
you sent Butterbean out there who knocks out pro boxers if he's lucky enough.
Yeah.
And I want you to understand, to say that and to know what I mean. Pro boxers are very proficient in skill. And Butterbean not
oh yeah.
necessarily wasn't the biggest skill guy, but if he caught your ass, he caught your ass, and everybody knew it. So to even send him in an arena with a person who doesn't box at all is kind of like sending, me in a real football game against TJ Watt. Y'all not watching the show. Y'all watching the slaughtering. It's not gonna, it's not good at that point. So I want you to understand, like when Butterbean got put in that situation, and then Mark got put in that situation, I was like, oh, Bart Gunn got put in that situation. I was like, well, this is kind of crazy, but I wish he got
That-
some more notoriety out of that, because that kind of showed how tough Bart Gunn was.
He got a
Like,
deal in Japan and he fought MMA.
yeah, but he needed more than that. He needed something here to make him big. Because like if you
He
looked
didn't have
at
the charisma.
it, you don't need charisma in this league. Not all the
Yeah, you
time.
do
Not all the
all the
time.
time.
When was
All
this? Could he
if
have
you want
caught
to be a
Kimbo
star,
Slice in a backyard? Was that when Kimbo was making his rise?
I didn't fight.
Was
He
that
probably
when?
could have. He probably
It
could
would
have.
have.
He could
I
have
would have paid to
officiated
see
a
the
couple fights.
fight.
Yeah, he
Oh
could have
yeah,
officiated a couple fights. Like, look, that Kimbo stuff was crazy.
I love
We
I
that.
we didn't believe it was real when it was happening. I was just like,
Same.
it's a big ass black dude in the backyard knocking motherfuckers out. That's
Yeah.
all everybody kept saying.
And then
Like,
the next week he was fighting a cop inside.
yeah.
I'm like,
So
this is bullshit. There's no fucking way this. Oh my god, he almost killed that cop.
it was like, and the crazy part to find out, all this shit is real, and everybody agreed
Yes.
to it. And I was just
Yep.
like, that's
He
national
would
fighting
just
for you.
come in.
He was the
That little,
worst.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
I love
He
those
was in one of
Kimbo.
the worst MMA fights I've ever seen in my life. I think it might have been Bellator put him and Data 5000, who's I guess a rapper. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
from
I don't know who
Outcast.
that about that. No, that's
No,
Andre
like
3000.
Hey,
3000.
yo, get your mother. Put that number that song.
Wait a minute, and like Data
Yeah,
5000 legitimately had to go to the hospital. He almost had a heart attack in the fight. It was
mhm.
horrible.
I would have had a heart attack walking to the ring. I got to fight who? I'm
Can
about to die right now.
we smoke
You
in
know?
here?
Yeah. Can we smoke in here? No, call the cops. Call somebody. Call anybody else.
Oh.
Call somebody to fight this motherfucker because I ain't doing it. But no, I think that
That
was that
like
was the time.
yeah, that was it. I mean, ladies and like fellas, I think we got to get out of here. But like, what a list, what a time, Matt. Thanks for joining us, man. Like,
An absolute pleasure, and I would love to leave my section of the door open if you ever would invite me back. I would be more than
oh,
happy.
don't worry, don't we'll have you back for sure. There's no question about that. Maybe we'll have you back around Mania season. Maybe we'll start talking some Mania stuff.
Yeah, and if you can't make it, George and I, we can do our own thing a bunch of
Yeah,
times, and
there you go. Yeah, that I'm pushed out.
You
Listen,
know what?
uh,
Every
all you
everybody
need
needs
is
everybody needs a manager, a
you need a
promoter.
double XL Canadian to co-host with, right?
Matt, I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't know if y'all noticed this or not, but every time this show airs with a new Canadian guest, they kick John off and take me with them. I have no idea why. That's like the fourth person that's at. Tornado has given me a house spot. You have said we can do our own show.
Yeah.
I'm like this. I got a spot in Canada, and they may be replacing you. I might, just move into your house and, take over your whole family and just be there. I don't know. I don't know if that's what they want, but it seems like they want to replace me.
Here's the problem, though, George. That you never do that because, like, you could never live here. Like, it looks like Rick James' living room outside, just fucking
Mm,
Just
snow
white
everywhere,
nah,
powder
baby, I'm tropical.
everywhere.
I'm look. I gotta
everywhere.
be.
So,
I gotta be close to the equator, or I'll die. So that's how that works.
You're probably, are
yeah.
you close to the Gulf of America?
I was funny enough, that's exactly where I'm from. Where the city that I'm from is right on the Gulf of Mexico.
Sorry, Gulf of,
Whatever it is now.
it's America. Get a map, get educated, buddy.
Guess what, baby? If that changed last night, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. If it changed this
How,
year, I don't care.
George, in Canada, when one of our arenas gets a different name, it takes us about 5 years for hockey. We never get over baseball. Is that same in America? Like you get the Smoothie King Center. Like, do you guys hold on to old names for buildings?
So back home it's real big. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's a stadium that we call the Babes of Horror, and it's always going to be that, and that's just what it is. It's gotten changed 4 or 5 times, and it's
Yeah,
still going to be the Babes of Horror.
yeah,
That's because that's what everybody knows it as. But over the years, I've noticed, and it's funny you say that, and that's a weird topic to talk about, but it's funny you say that because it's over the years, it's becoming more adaptable for the change. People are
yes,
really accepting more of the change a lot more nowadays. So like back when I was doing, like if I talk to somebody who's my age or older, or even somebody around my age group, if we're talking about something that we used to know, we're gonna call it and reference it to what we used to know versus what it is now. If I talk to somebody who's maybe in their 20s or 25 or something like that, and we have a conversation about where they're going or what they do now, 90% of the places I've never heard of, 90% of the places I'll never go to again, but I've at least been in the building once. I've probably been, drunk in 90% of these establishments, but there's some type of DNA of mine in there all the time. Like I've thrown up in a lot of buildings.
Hey now.
It's a lot.
Hey,
But at the same time, I
Good
have a
thing you
good
said
time.
throw up.
Yeah, no.
That was a good qualifier.
the Rogers Center's the one that I'll never
Yeah.
I'll never. It's the Sky Dome, so it's where the Blue Jays play, and they named it the Rogers Center because they're owned by Rogers Communications, and the only fucking statue around the ballpark of a great team is for Ted Rogers, who founded Rogers Communications. The only thing he did was buy the Blue Jays on a bargain deal. Well, it's like
And the building.
and the building for a steal. Home run? Nope. Dave Steve? Nope.
That's kind of how they had to, NRG Stadium, where the Texans play. You remember they had the dome where the Texans used to play, right?
Yeah.
Well,
The
they were
Astrodome?
both, the Astrodome. They were literally next door to each other for years, and people would still call the NRG Stadium the Astrodome, only because it was literally right across the street still. So they had to destroy it and let you know that motherfucker is not there anymore. They literally had to destroy it for people to stop calling it that.
Your childhood memories are dead.
It was like
on.
Dead.
3, 2, 1, we hitting the button. Watch this bitch blow up because it's gone. Stop saying that. Like, I have never seen nothing like that in my life to where people were like, yeah, we're going to the Astrodome to see the game. That's NRG Stadium now. So it was kind of hard to kind of get over that. So that's a very funny thing to kind of see. I wonder if there's some places that people kind of still hang on to. I know the Laker Stadium just kind of changed to the Crypto Center. I wonder if people still call it Staples.
Still do.
I can't imagine anybody with any sense of street cred or coolness referring to an arena as the Smoothie King Arena with any sort of cool factor. Or there's another one. There's a Slush Puppy King. There's a bunch. And see, in Canada, we only have 3 companies. So we've got Scotiabank Arenas, we've got Rogers Place, and Rogers Arenas. Right? Is that all? Yeah. What's in Edmonton? And Canadian Tire.
Canadian Tire Center.
Canadian Tire, Scotiabank, and Rogers. Those are our arenas.
And what's the Bell Center?
Yeah, the Bell Center. That's right.
So,
and
but gentlemen, great place to watch football game though. Nice. But gentlemen, it's been a hell of a night. Matt, thanks again. We're gonna have you back, and everyone else, thank you so much. We're gonna have got a couple interesting topics coming up over the next couple weeks, George, involving celebrities and wrestlers.
Ooh.
I think we're gonna talk about. I think we're gonna try I think we might have a special guest for one of them, but we're going to talk about. George had the idea of the best special guest match.
Special guest match?
Yeah. You know how we had Rodman back in the day on WCW?
Oh my God! Yes.
Karl Malone. They had
Fish out of water.
Carey. Yeah. There was Will Sasso who came in and did some matches.
Brett.
So where does that rank? That's what we're gonna do in a couple of days, and we're gonna show up with maybe a guest of our own at that point in time. Maybe we do something special for you guys in that regard. But of course, like I say, the next one is gonna be probably in those celebrity matches, because let's face it, everybody has a superstar that kind of comes into the WWE and they get into the ring. Either they make a fool of themselves or they make a star out of themselves. Bad Bunny made a bigger star out of himself. He came in there and had some of the best matches that you can ever see. So where does that rank on the top 5? I think that's a question that you can kind of put out there. So we'll kind of do a little bit of digging for you guys and kind of bring up a little bit of history and let you kind of walk down memory lane with us about some of these celebrity matches. But that's what we're going to talk about next time. Nice. So that's going to be nice.
But thanks for joining us, Matt. Thanks for being
A
here, and
pleasure,
everyone, thanks for
gentlemen.
tuning in. Appreciate it. Everyone, have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Peace.